Welcome, friends, to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Take Two is where we look again at ourselves and the world around us. And today, Jerry, this is an exciting topic. We're going to be talking about marriage. And if you went to take2show.com, you would have seen kind of a little comical spin we did on marriage and how sometimes maybe spouses can sometimes just drive you crazy, but really, it's for your holiness. And that's how we're going to look at it. We're going to really take kind of a fun approach to a very serious, wonderful grace that's in marriage. But we're going to need your help. So if you want to weigh in and share your take on marriage and what marriage means to you and how you've grown in your marriage, dial in at 1-800-585-9396. And you can be on the air with us and we can talk about marriage. So how are you doing, Jerry?
Doing great. Good to be with all of you today. With Jerry and Debbie. As Debbie said, our show is really spouses help one another get to heaven. And hopefully, as you went through your marriage preparation and as you have gone through the years, maybe many decades of marriage, you've come to realize that that really is the primary purpose of spouses, is to help make one another holy and get each other to heaven. So again, our number is 1-800-585-9396. How's your marriage going? Has it been all that you hoped it would be? Maybe there have been some bumps in the road. Maybe we want to know how you've handled difficult situations. Debbie, some people, you know, God only knows. The church's marriage rite, as we know, says in sickness and in health or for worse, till death do us part. And sometimes people get married, and within a year or two, a spouse has, a debilitating illness that lasts maybe for the rest of that person's life. And all of a sudden, one spouse is found in a situation where they're a caregiver, and they have to go back to the prayer and the rite of the church and remember that and just stay focused. And it can be very difficult. So marriage really is, Debbie, truly a saint-making machine.
Oh, I like that. That's the first time saint-making machine. I'm going to use that in my...
I heard Scott Hahn.
Okay.
I steal good stuff from the great speakers.
Well, that's good. That's good that we have those great speakers that we can use their words. But I want to just share something. Some of our listeners have been weighing in on Facebook, and Bill said, together we go to confession regularly. Yes, absolutely, Bill. And John said, pray, pray, pray in marriage. Betty also said, believe me, just keep praying for each other every day. And she said, better yet, try to pray together if possible. And these are great tools in marriage, and we all need to hear it. I was sharing, Jerry, right before we came on the air, I was sharing with Rich, our producer, that I've been married twice. This is my second marriage to Marty, and I went through the annulment process, which was an amazing healing process. But I think I can shed some light on things that I've looked back on my first marriage, and really can maybe help others. Don't ever have to go through the pain and the emotional pain of a divorce. You know, you look back and you can see where there were times that you really should have in marriage pulled out that rosary and prayed together instead of reacting, to respond in love instead of reacting. And there's so many things, you can look back on and you wish you did it differently. But, we're here today, and it's a perfect time because there's no, perfect place other than right now. And so I think it's important that we share with each other what we've learned in marriages. And I know the phone lines are already starting to fill up. That's a good sign. But guess what? There's room for you at 1-800-585-9396.
This really topic that has got to be of interest to so many of you, because most people, your vocation is you're going to be called to be married. Probably 98, 99% of people. Others are called to priesthood or religious life, or perhaps single life. I myself have married. Debbie, as she mentioned, she went through a divorce and an annulment and has been remarried. One of the things Debbie and I love about I think the combination of the two of us. She's female, I'm male. She's been married, I haven't. She's had kids, I haven't. So there's just different ways that we can come at many of these issues. But we want your takes on this, especially things like, do you pray together as a spouse? Or have you tapped into the grace of the sacrament to learn when and how to best support one another? What are some of the things that you do? Debbie, some mutual friends of ours, Chris and Vicki Lyford, they use a phrase often that I absolutely love. And when they see a couple working together well, they say, your sacrament is showing.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, your sacrament is showing. Wow. So, Jerry, I have to ask you this question because you bring up an interesting point. When you look at marriage, since you never have been in a marriage, when you look at marriage, what do you think about it? Like, what is it? How does it look to you?
Well, I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I think it's. I probably look at it a little bit differently, and I try to see the beauty and the greatness of it, the dignity, the nobility of marriage. As many of our listeners know, did not remain married. They divorced when I was 7 years old, and that had its impacts on me, and it has impacts on a lot of other people. And I think partly because of that, but also just simply because of the sacrament of matrimony in and of itself, I just look at it as just it's a beautiful institution. It's a natural institution. Jesus raised it to the level of a sacrament, but it's something that we really, really need to uphold and safeguard in our culture today because it's the future passes through the family. I think St. John Paul said that.
Well, you said such an important word, Jerry, sacrament. A sacrament in our faith is an outward sign that confers an inner grace. And so keep that in mind when we're talking today about the sacrament of marriage, the graces that come from the sacrament itself, and then within the marriage, the actual graces, the sacramental graces that are bestowed by God in the marriage, all to help us be purified and grow in holiness and be set apart and used as a holy vessel. And that's what's so beautiful about marriage, when two become one and become one flesh, for the glory of God, and God is right there in the middle of it. Boy, I'll tell you, great things come out of that beautiful marriage. So this is what we'd like to hear, dear listeners. We are going to have to go to a quick break, but when we get back, we'll get to the calls. There's room for you. I see a couple lines that have your name on it. 1-800-585-9396. Please share your take on marriage.
All right, we will get to the break. 1-800-585-9396. Let us know how you support your wife, gentlemen. Ladies, what do you do to make sure that your husband has the clearest path to holiness and heaven? These are things we're talking about today. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. 800-585-9396. Please join us.
We're asking folks about marriage.
Marriage makes me think of sports. Teamwork, dedication.
Okay, let's see what people say.
Let's say your marriage is a sport. What sport would it be?
Basketball. Surfing.
They have to be a team sport.
A lot of back and forth.
A lot of people watching.
So how many people are influenced by your marriage?
Hundreds.
You really think about the ripple effect.
It's like a wave.
Want to improve your marriage? For ideas, go to foryourmarriage.org. A message from the Catholic Church.
I honestly can't even picture my life without EWTN. You can get every need met between radio, television, internet. God bless you. EWTN go by the wayside.
If you have a comment about our programming, we'd love to hear from you too. Call 205-795-5773 or send us an email to radio@EWTN.com. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.
We're so glad you joined us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about the sacrament of marriage today, and the phone lines are just lighting up, and so we want to go to our listeners right now and hear their takes on marriage. We're going to go to Michael in South Carolina. Michael, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Michael.
Hello. I didn't know I
Hello.
was on the line.
You are on the air.
Well, that's wonderful. I think that this is a great topic. I've been married 56 years, the same
Praise
lady.
God. Praise
and,
God.
I intend to stay married to her till one of us dies, and then whatever happens then will happen. But it's never been just easy. It's always had ripples in the road. But if you trust in God and just wait for Him to show you what to do, then you can get through those ripples. But once you lose track of where He's at, those ripples turn into big waves. They're not little ripples anymore. And we've been through that too. I wasn't the greatest husband in the world, but my wife was the greatest wife in the world. So she got us through it, and now she has Alzheimer's. She's in the late stages, and we knew it was coming a long time ago, and we're getting through that without any problem at all with the good Lord on our side. So that's my comment, and anybody that is listening that is newly married that thinks that pink cloud is going to be there forever and ever, it won't. But if you trust God and help each other, then He'll get you through every ripple in the road.
Michael,
That's all I have. Thank you.
Well, Michael, that was beautifully said, and we just want. Made a note that you said trust in God and keep God in focus. And absolutely, Michael, can you share your wife's first name so we can pray for your wife?
Certainly, it is Ann.
Ann is okay. Is that with an E or no E?
No E, just
no
A
E.
and N.
Okay, same way I spell my middle name. Okay, Michael, absolutely. And we just want you to know that we are praying for Ann and you as the caregiver and your entire. I'm sure you have a lot of support around you. We hope.
Absolutely. We just moved to South Carolina from North Carolina. I had her in a nursing home for a short while, but that wasn't. That just didn't seem to work for us. So I have her at home with me, and I have caretakers that come in every day, and we're enjoying life. I'm taking care of myself, and she has good people taking care of her, and God's taking care of both of us. So that's all that matters.
Fantastic, Michael. And you said something key there. You don't need us to tell you this. Take care of yourself. I know some people feel guilty if they just even get a day away from the one they're caring for or just go out for some errands or something. But sounds like you've got a great perspective on this, Michael. And I just want to tell you how inspired I am, Michael, because if you've listened to this show, or I mentioned before the break, my parents divorced. I never knew my dad, and so I'm hearing in your voice really someone that I have always really just you sort of epitomize to me what a husband and a father should be, and staying faithful and remaining with your wife even in these difficult times. God pours blessings out through that. So, Michael, thank you for leading off our phone calls today. You've gotten us off to a great start here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Thank you, Michael. God bless you.
God bless you, Jerry.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, we're gonna move forward to Christina calling in from Missouri. Hi, Christina. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi. I am currently going through a divorce. It'll be finalized on Monday. And I don't know how to get through it and move on because I want to get married again. But the issue with my soon-to-be ex-husband is that he was abusive and was a addict to pornography.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Christina, are you Catholic?
No, I am a Protestant.
Okay, were you married in the Catholic Church or no?
No.
Okay, so what? You're emotionally talking about getting through the divorce. I know you. That takes a lot. My heart goes out to you because Monday, when the divorce is final, it's not an easy day. But I would love for you to email me and we can have the discussion kind of offline at take2@EWTN.com if you'd like to email me. But just a couple things I would share is that for you to kind of lean on a minister or pastor or somebody of clergy that you can trust and feel comfortable talking to. Do you have that available to you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, perfect. That's vitally important, Christina, and also to very much be in prayer and to stay very, very close to your faith and to stay close to Jesus. It's vitally important that you allow Him to come into your life and if you have feelings of anything, if there's any type of guilty feelings or not, those things need to be recognized, and you need to be able to move forward. That is the key, moving forward, because so many times people go through divorce and they're very much stuck in that place. It's almost like a time warp. They're stuck in where they were years ago. And I don't know if that somehow relates to you, but it's vitally important that you get yourself in a good place. And that is key, because you deserve, God tells us in the Bible that we deserve to have life and have it to the full. And if you are right with God, you deserve to receive those blessings, Christina. And this is in any way helping you, but I just felt called to share that with you. Jerry, I know you wanted to say something.
Well, I just want to echo on what you said, Debbie and Christina. This may or may not be pertinent to you either, but you mentioned some things of your husband. There was abuse. There was a pornography addiction. So many times we see that one spouse takes upon himself or herself the guilt of those sorts of things, like, well, if only I had been a better cook or been better looking or made the bed right or something, he wouldn't have gotten into these things. Christina, the truth is, these are often very deeply rooted issues that your husband probably brought with him into the marriage, almost certainly brought with him into the marriage. God bless him. We're going to pray for him. Doesn't sound like you harbor any anger toward him, but the key for you is just so that you don't look yourself in the mirror and say, well, what could I have done better, or what did I do wrong to cause him to go in those directions? Because that pretty typically isn't the case. So, Christina, would you be, if you're interested, feel free. Debbie mentioned the offer that she would be happy to take up this conversation off the air if you wanted to do that. Did you get the email address?
Yeah, I can get it online.
Okay, all right, yeah, just send an email. Go ahead.
Take2@EWTN.com, Christina. And I can also, I don't have them right with me, but I can share with you a couple books and a couple DVDs and CDs that might help you kind of, just feel, at peace with moving forward. So if that could help, I would be happy to impart those to you. Would that work?
Yeah, it would.
Okay, Christina, we're praying for you, and please know that. And on Monday, I will definitely offer up Mass for you. Please know that.
Thank you.
Thank
all right,
you.
Thanks, Christina, for the call. Let's all keep Christina in her prayers, and her husband, too. Those are often the ones that we just sort of push to the side and say, well, the guy was a derelict or a bum or whatever, but this is a man who's very, very hurt in many ways, doesn't excuse his actions. I like to say there are no excuses for the things we do, but often there are reasons for the things we do. So let's keep him in our prayers as well.
Absolutely.
And someone, feel free to join us on that open phone line. We're talking about helping spouses, helping one another get to heaven on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. 1-800-585-9396. In fact, if you have had struggles, serious struggles in your marriage, how have you worked on those things? Or maybe even not so serious, just the quirks and weaknesses that we all exhibit. How have you come to a place to be, patient with your spouse and understanding? Because really, marriage is one of the things that really burns away that selfishness that couples bring. All have that, and the couples bring to a marriage. So 800-585-9396. We're going to go to Paul next. Paul is listening in Massachusetts on the Station of the Cross. Paul, thank you for calling the show today. How are you?
Hey, Jerry. Good to hear from you again.
Likewise.
Hi, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Great to hear your voice.
Bear with me for about 10 seconds. I just want to pull over because I'm on the road right now, and I hate driving and talking at the same time.
Well, that's good, because we would have asked you if you had a hands-free and you had your seatbelt on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Debbie, he avoided the wrath of Debbie. So we'll see when Paul is back with us here. Paul, we certainly want you to be careful. Are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back. I'm pulled over.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I heard the topic. I wanted to. I've been married for almost 2 years. I'm at the age of 50, first time and hopefully the only time. Mm-hmm. my wife is well. There's 15 years between us, so now she's 37, I'm 52. So we both came to marriage. Well, you want to call it relatively late in life. I'm practicing Catholic. My wife is formerly Catholic. She's now Unitarian Universalist. I know it's a mouthful. And needless to say, that presents some challenges within our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I mean, I would love to pray with her on a regular basis, but obviously, prayer is meaningless to her given the current faith situation. Obviously, she calls it a religion. Obviously, it's not a religion. They don't believe in God, so questions, discussions about faith don't happen too often. Mm-hmm. But and you're probably wondering, so why did I marry her? Well, I love her for starters. And there are things that we do have in common. Other things we share in common. Unfortunately, faith is one of them at this point. However, over the past few years, taking into account things she has said and done, and not said and not done, I'm confident she will come back someday. And obviously, I pray every day that she'll come back. One of the things I do every month now, in my parish, we have a Eucharistic adoration once a month, so obviously I'm there and putting in my hour, and hopefully she'll be back someday. And I'm confident when she comes back, she's going to be the one who's going to be keeping me on my toes as far as faith goes. But until that day happens, I keep praying as well, and I know there are other people in our lives who are praying, and she comes back as well.
So, Paul, can I ask just a couple questions? So, were you married was it a Catholic marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
I insisted on it because if we weren't married in the church, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Okay.
And she was okay with that. Obviously, my parish priest. She likes my parish priest.
Good.
She does come to mass with me once in a blue moon.
Good.
She came to mass last Christmas, so it was the last time she came to mass. Probably only because her Unitarian Universalist group wasn't having any kind of a Christmas service, so she came with me, and she was okay with that.
Okay, so I want to share with you what a great priest told me, because my first marriage, my former husband was Jewish, and a great priest gave me some super wonderful advice that unfortunately I didn't listen to completely, and I probably should have. He said to me, be the best Catholic you can possibly be. You don't have to really, force anything or even do anything, but be the best Catholic you can be. And in that example, in that witness, your wife should be naturally drawn to that, because that is where the Holy Spirit is, and that is what it's going to pull her closer to the faith and closer to the church. And then exactly what you just said, this priest said to me, when they do come home or when they do come back, they will come back on fire and they will be, leaders. And that's beautiful. So I would just impart that to you so that maybe that could help you. Does that help at all? And I know Jerry.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
No, go ahead.
I do that. Believe me, be the best Catholic you can be. I tell people I describe myself as a hardcore Catholic, but I'm not good at it. But I do my best, and yeah.
Well, Paul, I was just going to add a couple things, really just to kind of tag it onto what Debbie said, and that's, and you that I'm sure be the best Catholic you can be, but some of the things that I'm thinking about, just very simple. Maybe you're already doing these things. I don't know if she goes to Mass with you, perhaps not. But when you're going to Mass, just give her a big hug and a kiss on the way out the door. Say, honey, I love you so much. Going to Mass. See you later. Very matter-of-factly, when you come home, bring her some flowers, do something nice. So you just treat her lavish love upon her. She's your queen right now. God has given her to you as your beloved spouse. You're sacramentally married. You were married in the church. She is a former Catholic, so maybe something happened in her past. I don't know if you're aware of anything, but Paul, those are some thoughts right there. You hear the music. It's time for a break. You can rev that car up and get back out on the road. Thanks for being safe, Paul, and thanks for the Station of the Cross. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. Let us hear your take on how spouses help each other get to marriage, get to heaven.
Is the court not courting religious liberty? This Friday on EWTN Theology Roundtable, EWTN theologians Colin Donovan, Cindy Quayer, plus EWTN General Counsel John Manos talk about the recent United States Supreme Court decisions binding religious liberty. Which could impact you? Sit down at the table with me, Elena Rodriguez, and talk to our theologians and a lawyer. EWTN Theology Roundtable this Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Hear what others are saying about listening to EWTN Radio.
Yeah, I listen to you every day while I'm in my work truck here. I've got my Sirius satellite radio constantly tuned to EWTN, and I have learned so much. Just, listen to all these talk shows and, listen to, because I don't get a chance to, go to Mass during the week, so listen at 9 o'clock for our Mass to come on.
Listen daily to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you're contemplating an abortion right now, I want you to listen to this. That's the sound of life. Now listen to this. That's the sound of death. The sound of the lie that every abortion clinic wants you to believe is the right choice. Now, turn the car around and choose life. Your baby will thank you, and God will bless you both.
On Saturday morning, don't miss the Catholic Business Hour with your host, Dick Lyles, focusing on careers and business with perspective.
Hi, Dick Lyles here to let you know that our next program is fully dedicated to answering your calls about business, work, and career. Do you have problems with a boss or coworker? Maybe you'd like to grow your own business or start a new one. Give me a call and let's talk about it.
The Catholic Business Hour, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Thanks for listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN. As Debbie likes to say, call us to get on the line to share your take. Today our conversation is spouses helping each other get to heaven. I tried to spit that out going into the break. And as Debbie likes to say, when you're on hold waiting your turn on the air, you get to hear the show being broadcast so you don't miss anything. 800-585-9396. We heard from Ed in North Carolina on our YouTube channel where the show is broadcast live. Ed, thanks for your comment. He said, I helped convince my stepson to finish confirmation classes, and my wife then went to RCIA. Now both sons are altar servers. So Debbie, see couples working together and prayer. Boy, God can do amazing things.
And I want to share something because the Beloved series, it's actually part of the Symbolon series, Beloved. It's 12 sessions, DVDs on marriage. And great, great speakers, Teresa Tomeo, Jason and Kristalina Everett, Matt Frad, Curtis Martin, Edward Shree, Dr. Edward Shree. Amazing. My husband and I own the Beloved series, and I would definitely encourage our listeners to give it as a gift for those marriage or for those in marriage that just want to really focus in on the sacrament and what the sacrament means, because when you receive the sacrament of holy matrimony, in the sacrament itself there is that beautiful sanctifying grace. But then in the marriage, you have sacramental grace that is constantly flowing and bestowed on the marriage itself, given by God in order to craft your holiness, to grow in holiness. So many times we have this feeling of, two people are brought together and we all have our little idiosyncrasies and little, human frailties. And boy, it's rubbing me the wrong way and that's irritating me or whatever. If you look at it from a spiritual sense and you look at a mental perspective, those annoyances, if you will, are allowing you to grow in virtue, are allowing you to grow in ways that you could never really grow in the outside world. So look at your marriage as a chance, a training in holiness, a training in sainthood. And I just want to go back real quickly. The Beloved series, it's really cool. The Symbolon series is a joint partnership with between Lighthouse Catholic Media and Ignatius Press and Augustine Institute, and they came together for the new evangelization, and they put together these Symbolon series, and Beloved is one of them, and I would highly recommend it. So I just wanted to share that, because I like to share stuff that I've actually used, and it has worked, and I've seen it work in other people's lives.
Thanks, Deb. We're going to go to Portland, Oregon, the city of roses. Bernard, listening on Mater Dei Radio. Bernard, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Thank you for taking my call, Jerry and Debbie. Blessing for whatever you do.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Me and my wife, Julie, have married for 11 years, and I like to share 3 things on this journey to heaven. May I?
Sure.
One is an organization called TOOL, Team of Our Lady. It's been a wonderful organization to strengthen marriage, to share what we do in life. And the second is called Retrovi. We use this, like everybody else. It's been marriage is not an easy journey. It's vocation, it's sacrifice. And Retrovi means rediscover, and that really helps us to strengthen our marriage and to put back. We're in the brink of divorce at one time, and Retrovi helped us to come back. And the third one is daily habit, and for us is blessings and prayers. We bless each other and bless our kids daily and pray. And hopefully this will help.
Well, Bernard, those are all great programs that you mentioned. I'm very familiar with Retrovi, having done a number of Catholic radio interviews with people involved in that. But really, Debbie, I think, in addition to taking part in great programs like that, I think Bernard has touched on some really, really important things, and that is spouses praying together. I know couples who the wife has said, in couple decades of marriage, we've never really prayed together. My husband doesn't want to pray with me. But not only praying with each other, but for each other, Debbie. I mean, laying hands on one another, asking God's blessings to come down, asking the best for your spouse, and at the same time maybe asking God to help you lower any defenses you might have, or impatience or things like this, to help that marriage be strengthened. But Debbie, I know you can probably share some things on that as well.
Well, there was a little bit of a wind, I think, Bernard, but I just want to make sure you said the first one, something to the effect of having to do with Our Lady. But if I could just add, and maybe this is the same where you were trying to lead us, to consecrate your marriage and consecrate yourselves to the Blessed Mother. She's our mother. She's our spiritual mother that's watching over us. And the two become one in the sacrament of marriage. So she will watch over you and your marriage and your bond, your very sacred bond that happens in the sacrament. And how beautiful is it? And even when I remember when my husband and I got married 5 years ago, and we took our journey together as husband and wife to the foot of the Blessed Mother, and she was there, and we laid a rose at her feet, and I was so moved with complete peace and joy just being in front of her. I just knew that she was smiling the day we got married. Our Lady plays a very, very big part in the marriage, and I would include her as well. Does that help, Bernard? Are you still there?
Yes. The first one, that's exactly right. Thank you so much. And the one that I mentioned is one of the organizations is called the Team of Our Lady. It's called TOOL. Just like everywhere else, right? We need tools, and these are the 3 tools that I use, or we use for every day. I mean, not used in a sense of profane, but it's that helps us to go through heaven. And yes, the Team of Our Lady, it's based on the devotion to Mary, Our Lady.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you for blessing our day and inspiring us. And God bless you and Julia. 11 years. That's awesome. I was just doing the math right before the break, Jerry. I was going back to Michael, 56 years married. I thought to myself, I want to be married 56 years, but I'd have to live to be 101.
Hey, that's very, very possible. Bernard, God bless you, and Julia, thanks for all you do to support Mater Dei Radio as well. Our phone number, 1-800-585-9396. We're talking about the sacrament of marriage and how spouses, how you and your husband, you and your wife help one another to be holy, to be prayerful, and ultimately to get to heaven. Next up is, let's see, it looks like, is it Dana? Dana in Evergreen, Colorado. Dana, did I get your name right?
You did.
Awesome. That's a beautiful name. Thanks for calling. What's your take on this?
Thank you. I'm just thrilled to hear the tools, as Bernard just said, that everyone is using for strengthening their marriage, to getting and just to loving each other more and more deeply. My husband is a pretty recently ordained deacon, January of 2014, here in Denver. And the same month I found I had breast cancer.
Oh.
I was traveling all over the place, and as much as I wanted to spend time at the seminary with him, I did when I could. And when I was traveling, I couldn't, but I visited churches wherever I was and saw some beautiful. But anyway, I stopped my traveling job in January, and I'm still going through a few things. I have a couple minor things that still need to be done, but I'm okay, and I'm cured of the cancer at this point. Mm-hmm. But my husband, just being a brand new ordained deacon, had to take care of me. And he was so loving and so generous with his time. But I'm a trooper, and my recovery was very quicker than my doctors felt. So I would say, no, you go ahead and you do what you need to do. I'll be okay. And now that I am doing much better, and he is he's working at a church on the altar with our wonderful priest, and he's doing jail ministry, and we both just got certified to be advocates for annulment. We've got some things that are going on, but we still pray together every day. We do liturgy of the hours, and he is just a wonderful man. And me being able to be home and spend more time, I'm able to help him so much more than when I was traveling and having to get all my things done on Saturday morning. I can do things during the day. I can have dinner prepared when he gets home. And he said last night, I have to tell you, I appreciate so much when I walk in the door that I smell dinner ready. And it's just really a blessing to me to be married to this man.
Well, Dana, first of all, I just want to say, from one cancer thriver to another, congratulations. I'm so
you.
Yeah, that's beautiful that your journey and you're clear of the cancer, and praise God for that. And congratulations to your brand new deacon husband. And I know that is a journey for both husband and wife together, through a lot of the preparation together, and I think that is beautiful. And in the way you speak about your husband, who's now a deacon in our church, and the ministry you're doing together is just so edifying. I can't even begin to tell you how beautiful it is when I hear you speak about your husband and how you both have served each other in sickness and in health, and you're really taking the marriage to the deep core of it, and how beautiful it is that now you're in the annulment ministry portion of our church, which the annulments, I have to tell you, the Catholic Church has it so beautifully done with the process of our annulments. So Dana, so many things I'd like to comment on, but I know that we have to go to break, and I know, Jerry, you wanted to jump in and share your thoughts.
No, I just, what Debbie said, Dana, you have summed up the marriage right in your phone call, where it says, as you know so well, in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, for better or for worse. And that's where the grace is, as Debbie said earlier. It's not if marriage were just easy, a picnic, a walk in the park, a lot of people in marriages wouldn't get to heaven. But Dana, it sounds like you and your husband are really, really doing this right. And I know you've been an inspiration to a lot of our listeners today. So Dana, thank you so much. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we go to the break?
No, just God bless you all for your show and what you give to all of us out here. It's very inspiring to hear other stories, and I'm so thankful that we now have Catholic radio here in Denver.
Yay! And we're working. Yeah, very cool. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we'll share with you, if you're listening, about the pilgrimage that Jerry and I will be on at the end of December. But we're going to
with Archbishop Denver.
That's right.
So keep listening, Dana. That might be something you and your husband can join us on.
Yes, we got to take a quick break on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Stay with us. We're talking about the sacrament of marriage, but when we get back from the break, we'll share with you the pilgrimage attending at the end of December. You don't want to miss this. Be right back.
What's stopping you from becoming a Catholic?
Why can't women become priests?
I don't understand why I have to earn salvation.
How is it possible that God created everyone?
Why do I need to confess my sins to a priest?
Why is the Catholic Church so unwilling to The Catholic Church is too rich.
Catholics worship Mary and are committed.
As far as I'm concerned, all religions are equal.
You are called to communion with Dr. David Anders. Today, 2 p.m. Eastern, on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
For 2,000 years, we've helped the poor and comforted the sick. We've educated generations of children, developed the scientific method and college system. We support marriage and human life. Guided by the Holy Spirit, we compiled the Bible. We are the Catholic Church, with over 1 billion in our family, sharing in the fullness of Christian faith in the church started by Jesus. If you've been away, visit CatholicsComeHome.org today. Welcome home.
So good to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. We're going to get right back to your calls. Liz, you've been holding patiently, so you're next. Just want to mention Dana's call kind of motivated me to mention again the pilgrimage that Debbie and I will be on. It's actually for my ministry vocation boom. We have got Archbishop Samuel Aquila of Denver. He's going to be our chaplain. We've got a couple of other priests. We're working on a seminarian being with us and other priests and seminarians, hopefully. But this is for everyone. Lay people, you can come with us. You can celebrate Christmas Day at home with your family and friends, and then 3 days later on December 28th, you can fly off with us to the Holy Land. Debbie, I am just getting chills thinking about being in Bethlehem during the Christmas season.
I agree. And Steve Ray leading us, I mean, he's so incredibly, I mean, the knowledge that is in that man's head is amazing. And you just learn and grow at every footstep. And I just think it's so cool that the Year of Mercy, Pope Francis called for the Year of Mercy, is starting off at the beginning of December. And then we're going to be off to the Holy Land at the end of December. How exciting is that? This is really cool. So if you want to join us, go to Vocation, sign up, and we would love to have you on the trip.
Very good. We're going to go to Liz now, waiting patiently in Minnesota. Liz, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're so glad you called. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime.
I just wanted to share some advice I had heard from Scott Hahn. The thing that inspired me to call was a woman that called in about her husband being addicted to porn. And I had found out a couple years into our marriage that my husband had been involved in that arena as well. I just wanted to say that I heard Dr. Hahn say that we're called to love our spouse in the same way that God loves us, even when we don't deserve it. And it sounds so simple and so, like, of course, duh, that's what marriage is all about. But until you're actually pushed to do it, like, I don't know, it just really has encouraged me to be more self-reflective, and it has given me the grace to have patience that, I mean, that I'm such a miserable sinner, and yet God still loves me so fully, and that there's no reason that I can't do that for my husband who has hurt me, in so many ways. And so because I have hurt God in so many ways, but he still loves me. And so I just wanted to share that with anyone else, because, we've been blessed in our marriage, but of course, like you say, there's good times and there's bad. And it's just that advice has helped me so much in our marriage. And so,
wow,
yeah.
Liz, that's great. And Debbie, this is what this show is about. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And, I've never been the type, like my business is Third Millennium Media. I didn't want to call it, Jerry Usher this or that, but the show has our names in it, Debbie, but really this show is Liz's show.
Mm-hmm.
This show is Michael's show. It's Dana's show. It's Bernard's show. It's Raleigh's show, who's listening right now on Modern Day Radio in Portland. Hi, Raleigh. It's our listeners' show, Deb, and when they call in and contribute, something like Liz just did, there are maybe thousands of people who are going to benefit from that. So they're not just sharing it with us, Debbie. It's an opportunity for a lot of other people to be helped. That's one of the beautiful things I love about this show and about our listeners.
And I really appreciate Liz's call, because you remind us, Liz, that we're all in this together. Your experiences are our experiences, and we're all sharing this together. We're the body of Christ growing together. This is a peer ministry. I just want to echo that again, what Jerry's saying, because it's important for us, especially in this time where the secular world is kind of caving in on us. It's important for us to grow together as Christians and to move towards God at every moment of every day. And if this show, if something you said, Liz, could help one other person, which I know it's already helped me by you just sharing, then we're growing. And you just have to imagine that God is shining on that, and God is blessing that and anointing that, because where two or more are gathered, God is present. So this show is really, we do it all together, and that is just the beauty of it. So I want to thank you, Liz, for imparting your words of wisdom today. And I just wanted one more thing about loving. So many times we hear that love is a feeling, and, I'm in love, not in love, I feel love. Love is really a conscious decision and a conscious choice to love. And just like I think Liz said it so beautifully, in spite of everything, if you choose to love in spite of everything, of all the, sinfulness around you, but you choose to love, you'll cut through that, and in some way that grace will shine. And I do believe that. And looking back on even my former marriage, I saw where there was times that grace could have prevailed had I chosen complete love. And hopefully maybe that helps someone listening right now, but I didn't know if you wanted a comment on that, Jerry.
Well, I think, Liz, we do need to try and get another call or two in here. Liz, God bless you. Thanks for sharing that on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I just hate it when the show starts to wind down, because I wish we could spend several hours a day with all of you. We're going to go to Donald next. Donald is in Central Illinois. Donald, we're grateful that you called Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. What is your unique take on this today?
Well, I don't know. Can you hear me all right?
Sure.
Just fine.
All right. I've been married, or have been married, for 20 years. I got 6 kids, and it did not end well. It was the choice of the other spouse to end the marriage. Still, I got the faith. Seemed like the secular sports took precedence over the family Sunday church. Still, I'm a Sunday school teacher, but it just seems like secular got in the way. And I was patient. I kept, encouraging her to come to church with me on Sunday as a family. Unfortunately, she chose not to. And
go ahead.
I mean, I'm basically calling because I keep thinking I followed the rules. I chose to love, even though, sorry, a little emotional still about the whole thing. But I still have faith that God's there guiding me, and I don't think He would have put me in a position that
I'm not supposed to be going through right now. But doing the analysis of my marriage over the last 20 years, make sure that when you get married, you come together as a unit. You leave your parents and you cleave to one another. Mm-hmm. Because there was a lot of external influence. That with the secular sports seemed to be the demise. I was never the authority in the household.
Hmm.
Well, Donald, let me just share something. I wish we had a good 20 minutes to talk about this, and unfortunately we only have 3 minutes left till the end of the show, but I just wanted to share with you a couple things. If there's no hope of reconciliation, if there's absolute no hope of reconciliation, then our church has in place the annulment process that is very, very healing. I encourage you to really talk to your priest and who you trust and feel comfortable with, because you do need to feel at peace, and know that 6 beautiful children came out of your marriage with God at the center of that, because the kids coming into this world is a miracle in and of itself. So relish in that as well. And so the healing process is available in the church and in the sacraments. I please encourage you to pursue that. And also you could email us at take2@ewtn.com. I'd be happy to share with you some resources that I used that may be helpful. Does that work?
I started talking with Deacon Denny. I guess my main question personally is, when can I stop trying? I mean, it's been going on for over 2 years. We're in 2 separate households for well over a year, and there's no hope, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, and Donald, as Debbie mentioned, we are running out of time. I just wish we weren't. But please email us at take2@ewtn.com. But your comment right there, the first thing that popped into my head is, Donald, stop trying. What you need to do right now is just rest. Just rest in the arms of Jesus and Mary. I'm not saying don't make attempts to maybe reconcile or get your marriage back together. It sounds like that's what you would like to have happen. But if that is not being mutually pursued by your wife, then maybe it's time for you to just focus on those things that are right in front of you, especially those beautiful kids. They need you as their dad right now more than ever, and it sounds like you are a fantastic dad, and you're going to continue to be that for them. So I would say just stop, quote-unquote, trying, and just trust for a while and see what happens. So, Debbie, my takeaway from the show today is the sacrament of marriage is just a beautiful, beautiful thing, and Jesus is the third member of it. Who was it? Fulton Sheen said 3 to get married, right?
That's right. That's right. My takeaway, I just want to say quickly, Donald, please email us so we can continue the conversation. Angela and Danuta and Marie, I'm so sorry, but please post your comments on take2show.com. Tomorrow's show is all about your patron saint, and is your patron saint your friend? My take is that I'm going to hug and squeeze my husband, Marty, as soon as I get done with this show and say thank you for celebrating the sacrament of marriage.